Hello Spurs supporters, Jason here at Exodus FC, and it's time to talk about Harry Kane. So, the most recent news that came out today is that he is not willing to sign the contract extension this transfer window. He wants to go to Bayern, and otherwise, if that will help the club and they will pay the fee, then that's what he'd like to do at this point, which basically that's what we suspected. Now, this hasn't come from him. This has come from good sources. And my feeling at this point is, pretty much for somewhere in the neighborhood of £90 million, you can have him, Bayern. Now, will they meet that valuation? I don't know that they will. All signs are pointing towards, their best offer so far is €80. They need to get closer to that number. Now, is it in Tottenham's interest to let him just stay and play out his contract? Potentially the value of having him stay and getting into the Champions League. So, but at the same time, I can convince myself either way. And what's sort of maddening is we have yet to hear anything from Mr. Kane himself. It's always through in-the-know sources and, Bayern and the like. And so everyone's a little tired of it all, ready to move on and get on with the season. Now, on the tour, we continue to see PR footage of Harry and his practice team smiling, winning their day or whatever, and even Lo Celso was looking really happy in that group. It was pretty funny. Definitely people that many think might be on the way out seemed like they're having a good time. So even though they're working hard under Ange, and maybe they're ready to move on to greener pastures, they are still enjoying themselves. So that's good to see. The other, and speaking of, if Harry Kane is out, it looks like Ange has been really working on Bissouma to kind of step up and be a leader, and that's good news to hear. He's a really magnetic personality and popular in the group by all means, and I think it's awesome for him to establish himself this year in that kind of role, and I'm hooked. And really step up in that regard, in that leadership kind of role. And if Harry Kane's on his way out, if Højbjerg is on the way out, which it sounds like the Atletico Madrid stuff is still in the works, and if those are the cases, then it's great to see Ange is already working on having new people to step up and fill the leadership void that could be result if potentially Dyer is out, or at least in the process of being replaced. If we can get those two center backs, and of course there's other news today is that now, despite having the medical, Ashley Phillips' deal may have broken down suddenly. The Rovers at Blackburn are asking for a few more million pounds apparently. So never an easy moment for Tottenham in the transfer scene. Beyond that, so getting back to Harry Kane, it's interesting. I'd love for him to just say something one way or the other, but I think he's actually doing exactly what he should do, and waiting to see what develops on the market. He has all the power. He holds all the cards. I do kind of feel like if he's not going to sign this summer, and he's wise probably not to, if he doesn't think he wants to stick around potentially, then I think it is in Tottenham's interest to get the deal done and just begin the new era. I don't think the style of play in Ange's system depends on a elite striker, elite 30 goal a year striker. It's a good bonus, but it needs the pressing, it needs the speed, it needs the things that aren't necessarily Harry Kane's strengths. And we definitely don't need to find a like-for-like replacement. We just need to find a capable workhorse. Can that be Richie? That would be awesome if it was. If it can't, someone that fits that profile, that's within a reasonable price range, and potentially youth, either or, that would get the job done. So we'll see what happens. In other news, let's see. I think they've just flown out and are on their way to Thailand, Bangkok specifically, and let's see, they're playing Leicester, I think. So that will be Sunday. I'm looking forward to that game, and hopefully I can figure out how to watch it this time around. I'll have to see what time it actually is too. Additionally, Women's World Cup off to a good start today. New Zealand upset Norway 1-0, which is cool. And actually, I forget the name, but there is a Spurs player on New Zealand, midfielder. I'll have to track that info down. Congrats to her and her teammates. That's pretty impressive, and an awesome way to start. And I know Canada's going on right now versus Nigeria, and it was 0-0 when I last saw the score, and I'm hoping I can catch the second half of it tonight. And of course, USA starts tomorrow. So stuff is going on, nothing too pressing. I'd love to see a center back transfer take place, but I'm sure it'll happen soon enough. And in the meantime, it's been super hot here, so I've been less than eager to get out and do an earlier walk up the hills that I have around my house, and my usual walks have. It's still in the mid 80s Fahrenheit right now, I want to say. But it's not as bad as it was earlier today when it was in 100-degree range. But let's see, was there anything else that I wanted to cover tonight? Oh, yeah, so I had one, speaking of Harry Kane and what his next career move should be, or what, if he was on an interview show, or I had a chance to pose a hypothetical to him, what I would like to ask is, okay, Harry, here are your options. You can go to Bayern. You will have the chance to win the Bundesliga. You will most likely win the Bundesliga. More importantly, you will have a shot to win the Champions League. And if you do win the Champions League, I mean, and have the kind of season we'd expect, most likely you would have a chance to win the Ballon d'Or. However, if you make that choice, you can never break Alan Shearer's record. So, on the flip side, if you stay at Tottenham, you have a chance to break Alan Shearer's record. You'll never win the Ballon d'Or. You'll probably never win Champions League. But you will have a chance to win the Premier League. You'll have a shot to get that record and possibly win an FA Cup or something else. What would you choose? And I don't know, I have a feeling he probably would like to have that shot at the Ballon d'Or and winning Champions League. But if he had that choice between that and Shearer's record, that's what I'd like to know. You can have one or the other. Neither one's a guarantee. What would you choose? And so on that note, I'm going to wrap it up for the night, and I will talk to you all again soon. And remember, to dare is to do.